Come gather round, children, and hear my tale. A tale of courage, chivalry, and landscaping. Once upon a time, in an era long since past, there was a shovel knight and a shield knight. These two comrades went on various adventures and were the best of friends. That is, until one day, at the dreaded Tower of Fate, the two became parted and the shield knight was lost, seemingly forever. The shovel knight then turned to a peaceful life, and during his retirement, the land was conquered by the despicable Order of No Quarter. During the shovel knight's time of despair, his thoughts often wandered to his old friend, and he would lie asleep dreaming of his comrade, wishing he had the courage to save her. But we don't have time to lay around, we've got a kingdom to save. So this game, Shovel Knight, was released for the Wii U, 3DS, and PC by indie newcomers Yacht Club Games due to an extremely successful Kickstarter campaign, and it has already garnered a large amount of praise from the gaming community. But why exactly is that the case? Well, I suppose it's time to steal our shovels and find out. So, like many other indie titles, this game is a side-scrolling platformer. However, unlike most indie platformers, the protagonist of this quest is wise enough to know that most obstacles can be overcome with a swift shovel to the head. But that's not all. This knight can also breathe underwater, dig for treasure, and, much like Simon Belmont, he can eat chicken that has been hidden in a wall for God knows how long, and stomach it like a champ. As Shovel Knight makes his journey across the kingdom, he must defeat each member of the Order of No Quarter in order to progress. That was an awkward sentence. Along the way, he can make stops in a couple of villages to purchase armor, weapons, health, and magic upgrades. He can also stop by the pond of the Troupple King in order to gain a magic ichor, which will help him on his journey. What? You've never heard of a Troupple? You mean to tell me that you've never been fishing and caught yourself a largemouth Troupple? They're delicious. This campaign consists of 13 stages and 4 mini-bosses, which should take the average player around 5 to 6 hours. I only guessed this number because it took me around 7. But fret not, because there is a new Game Plus option, and the developers are currently in the process of adding free new features, such as a 4-player battle mode, gender swaps, a challenge mode, and new story missions for different characters. Now let's do some reviewing. The graphics in this game are fantastic. But E-Dog, I hear some of you thinking, this game is nothing more than a glorified 16-bit platformer. How can you say that these graphics are good? A fair question. Allow me to explain. Yes, this game isn't as smooth or flashy as current-gen titles, but the amount of detail that is put into the various and vibrant environments is downright stunning. Not to mention, each level has a large variety of enemies which are individually designed to suit the current level. So, while this title is rather pixelated, I can still find the beauty and extremely clever design that is exhibited throughout this campaign. Now let's talk gameplay. While the combat flows rather smoothly, the platforming in this title can take a little getting used to. I felt that the jumping and landing was a bit sluggish, which made timing precise jumps a little awkward until I managed to become accustomed to the handling. On the other hand, this is a knight clad in heavy armor, so I guess that makes sense. But the more that I played this game, the more that I realized that this title is very akin to classic platformers such as DuckTales, Mega Man, Castlevania, and even Dark Souls. Okay, yeah, that last one isn't a platformer, and I should probably explain the comparison. The only way to upgrade most of your assets is to use the spoils which are collected throughout the stages. When you die in this game, you drop some of your loot. The only way to regain this loot is to go to the location where you died and collect it. However, if you die before this, then the loot you lost before is gone forever. Sound familiar? While this game can be a bit difficult, there are many checkpoints thrown throughout the stages to give you a hand. Or, if you want to be really hardcore, you can destroy these checkpoints for more loot. Your call. But the best part about the gameplay is how intuitive it is. There are literally no tutorials at all, but the first screen of each level introduces a new game mechanic and allows you to experiment with it and understand how it will work in the rest of the level. I absolutely adore the game for taking such a simple element of gaming and perfectly implementing it into the title. But let's not forget this game's amazing soundtrack. Seriously, if you're at all into 8-bit soundtracks, then I would highly recommend checking out this game's OST. Each track fits the level, boss encounter, or traveling section perfectly, and is an absolute joy to listen to. So, if you're ready to check out this love letter to old school platformers, then I would highly recommend checking out this game. I think this title will prove to all naysayers that Shovelrie is in fact alive and well.